Happy Friday, everybody. It's me, Alex, the founder of Dispatch Training Center, your sassy dispatcher, sassy instructor, and of course, sassy safety professional who stays on top of all regulations, requirements, and all the news in trucking industry. Well, probably you guys are stressed out about upcoming elections. We are dealing with natural disasters. We are dealing with low market, and we still have to remember our IFTA filing, our renewals, and we need to make sure we stay on top of those things. Most of you are signing up for our upcoming IFTA class, which is going to be on October 19th. And we are trying to help everybody in this economy, and we are giving a generous discount, $125 off. So if you decide to sign up, make sure you go to our website, Learn Dispatch today, find the IFTA training, and put the code IFTA 125, and you will save $125. If you really want to become a pro dispatcher, if you really want to succeed in trucking, probably knowing only IFTA is not going to be enough. And that's why we have combination for IFTA safety and compliance, which is going to start also on 19th. And we already put discount of $250, but we are going further. We are actually giving you extra $50. So if you would like to purchase a combination of IFTA safety and compliance manager training, you can save additional $50 off. You will need to use safety 50. Lots of you already know that we pushed our October class to November due to natural disasters, and we would like to make sure that you are still participating in our November class, and we are giving you $100 off early bird discount, and we are starting class November 2nd. Make sure do not wait to the last minute because you need to get ready for the classes. Well, let's see what we're gonna have today in our little fast review on upcoming IFTA training. Well, first, I will be back in a second, and we're gonna discuss just the main idea. What is IFTA? Who needs to file? Why is it so important? And hopefully, I'll see you in my class. If not, I'm gonna give you resources where you can go and at least figure out rules, regulations, audits, and everything else what you need to do with IFTA filings. Well, probably most of you already know that there is some fuel tax that all truckers have to pay. And we need to file them quarterly. And a lot of people who just came to the truck and they're still confused, how does it work? So the first resource I want you to give, it's an official IFTA website. So there you go. You can go to, let me switch myself here so you can see. So it's IFTA.ch.org. And why do I want you to go to official websites? Because that's where you should learn all the updated information. That's where you can see and answer all the questions. So if you guys gonna scroll down, well, you can see who needs the IFTA application, right? Who needs a license? You need to make sure how to figure out what is your base jurisdictional state. If you don't know how to contact your state, for example, let's choose a Kansas right now just to purpose of this, and it's gonna take you to information how to apply for IFTA in Kansas. It has a website, it has email, it has a phone, it has a fax. So anything you need, it's right there. This is an example of IFTA decal for 2024. So most of you are confused and you thinking, wow, what is an IFTA reporting and who is involved in this? Well, let's figure out one simple thing, that IFTA is an international fuel tax agreement between USA and certain Canadian provinces. And under the IFTA, you have to report your fuel taxes to your base state. So what does it mean base state? Well, if my company is registered in Illinois, I will be reporting IFTA to Illinois state. My trucks can go everywhere, but I will be reporting my quarterly IFTA in Illinois. And who needs to submit an IFTA report? So let's just see the basic requirements. Well, the first requirement is you need to submit your IFTA report if your truck has 3 or more axles. And before we go to the further requirements, remember, you need to submit IFTA reports and apply for IFTA license if you are interstate carrier. That means that you go to more than one state. If you are only intrastate carrier inside of one state, you don't have to apply for IFTA or have IFTA decal. Well, what is the second requirement besides the 3 axles in the first place? Well, your truck has to weigh more than 26,000 on a weight. Well, what else? You have to file the IFTA if you use your truck in a combination that exceeds 26,000 pounds total. So a lot of times people get confused about that. Let's say you are working with equipment and your truck weighs only 26,000. Do you need to apply? Do you have to apply? What if you are going to other states? So that's why we are answering all those questions in our upcoming training on October 19th. Well, let's also figure out our quarters for 2024, because most of people are late for filing IFTA on time, or they don't really know when to file. So let's go really fast. 2024, we had 4 quarters. Actually, we just finished our 3rd quarter. So the first quarter, you were applying your IFTA in April by April 30th. And you were filing for which months? Well, January, February, March. So this is your first quarter. The second quarter was due by July 31st. So we have the whole month of July to get our information, to put our gallons together, our miles, to prepare. You have the whole month every time to file your IFTA on time. And on July 31st, we were filing for April, May, and June. Well, now we need to file our 3rd quarter, and we have to do it right before October 31st. So this is the last day on Halloween. Make sure, do not wait till the last day, because you might get busy with getting candies with your kids. But by October 31st, we are filing for July, August, and September. That's why we always do our trainings only quarterly, so we can teach you how to actually file the real IFTA, how to go and file IFTA filings in other states. Well, after we finish October, when will we file the last quarter? We're gonna file the last quarter in January, and we have till January 31st to file our last quarter, which will include October, November, and December. What other things do you need to remember? Well, you need to order those decals for your trucks. And there is a rule that they should be on your truck by January 1st of 2025. So when do you have to start ordering them? Well, guys, do not wait till last week of December. First, you need to renew your IFTA license. And usually I recommend doing this in the end of November and ordering decals. First, it takes time for them to ship those to you. You need to distribute them to your drivers because your drivers might be going all over. Maybe you have to mail it to his home and he lives somewhere in Missouri, your company in Illinois. Or maybe you have some problems and your IFTA is going to be denied. So you need to figure out that before January 1st of 2025. Well, how do you file your IFTA? What do you need to have in order to file your IFTA? Do I file IFTA separately for each truck? Do I file it together as a company? Lots and lots and lots of questions. And we are going over in details and giving you lots and lots of information in our upcoming training. But you need to make sure that you understand one simple rule. IFTA is getting filed for the total trucks together. So if you have 10 trucks, you have to add all the miles for those 10 trucks in all the states and provinces if you were going to Canada, and all gallons of fuel that all those trucks were using. And you have to make sure that you know the amount in each state. That's why we go and we get fuel reports from our fuel cards. If you're paying cash, that's the biggest problem, because in that case you need to make sure you have your receipts. You need to make sure you have all the trip reports, and that's what I don't like to deal with if I am filing IFTA for owner operator. Well, it's going to be hard to keep those records because you have to keep your records for audit for 4 years. So if you are filing IFTA for 2024, doesn't matter if you stay in business or you're going to go out of business, for the purposes of audit, you still have to have your receipts. You have to have the proof of your trip reports for 4 years. And that's when IFTA gets complicated. It's not about clicking and putting the numbers when you're filing your base IFTA. It's about keeping the records, valid records, not fake records. And of course, not faking those numbers. Lots of you are scamming IFTA system because you think you are so smart. You even receive the money back. But I can tell you this. You do not want to play games with your state authorities, IRS, and federal agencies, because one day your fine is going to be so high that you have to go out of the business. Well, what do you need to do in order to pass audit, and what your drivers have to do? Let's kind of go over a few step-by-step instruction. First, everybody needs to track mileage. So mileage through each state for 3 months. And a lot of you using ELD now, so it's way easier nowadays because you can just go and log into your ELD. You can click on report for this quarter. You can choose all trucks for your company, or you can choose for each truck because you still need to have the proof for each truck. Well, what else you need to have? You need to make sure you keep your receipts. You need to make sure that you log the total number of gallons that you have purchased in each state. That's why the easiest way is to have fuel card. First, you getting the discount. Secondary, it's easy to get the information and keep it as a proof for audit. While you need to determine your average miles per gallon, MPG. And gets tricky because when you file an IFTA and you have newer trucks, older trucks, well, you have to kind of figure out your average mile per gallon for the company. And if that number is awfully high or awfully low, well, you missing something. Or you missing miles or you missing gallons. So before clicking and filing that IFTA, make sure it does make sense. Because usually if your trucks are the same, MPG is gonna change only slightly. And sometimes it's gonna be due to what? Due to the how heavy loads your dispatchers are getting, because the heavier the loads, the more fuel you use to carry those loads. Due to terrain, if you're going through the mountains and you're heavy, well, you're gonna use also more fuel. And it also depends on how your driver is driving. Believe it or not, when your driver is slamming that truck, when he's not downshifting, when he's going in mountains down, you will be using not only your brakes, but extra fuel as well. So nowadays, ELD devices, GPS devices, all other tracking softwares can show the behavior of your drivers. And that's something that you need to understand. You can also find out which driver is stealing that fuel. And you're going to say, Alex, how? Is this magical app out there? No, you don't need magical app. You only need logical thinking and understand how IFTA works. I'm going to give you an example. Let's say I have driver Mike, and usually his MPG was 7.5. So suddenly his MPG goes to 5. Well, I'm not missing anything. I do have correct miles from ELD, but seems like he is using more gallons. And that's where you can find out if he is reselling that fuel. The other way to find out, do not wait till quarterly filing. You as a dispatcher, you as the owner of the company should pay attention weekly on how many miles this driver was driving by LD and how many gallons did he use. Because if you know MPG for his truck, you're gonna figure out right away. Is he really stealing and reselling it for cash on the truck stops? Yes, that's what's happening. And believe it or not, when I opened my company a long time ago, first I couldn't figure out why some trucks are not as profitable as another trucks. And finally, when I start doing my own IFTA and not paying the third party, well, the numbers just click. And I found those drivers really, really fast. And I had to say goodbye to the scammers. But remember, nowadays fuel is expensive. Nowadays, economy is not doing well. So unfortunately, we do have a lot of drivers who are reselling your fuel. Should you blame them if they are doing it for few months, for few years? No, not really. Well, if they are able to scam you, that means that you don't even have a basic knowledge of how to watch for your MPG, for your IFTA reporting. So, unfortunately, you deserve it. So, go ahead, sign up. If that's not going to be you who's signing up, maybe your safety manager who is in charge of IFTA should sign up. I know people have been filing IFTA for years, years, and years. And every time when they come to my class, I see the same expression. Alex, oh my God. I figure out that all this time I was missing all paperwork for possible audits, or I did not even know that we are losing money because drivers are stealing, or I did not know the easier way to file IFTA. Well, after all this, what else do we need to make sure that we understand? Well, tax index is always changing. For example, right now they still did not figure out some of the states. We still have few days, but you can go and check how it's going up or down. We have two states which we have to remember that have a surcharge. And nowadays, this is Virginia and Kentucky. So when you're going to be filing IFTA, don't get surprised. After you put your numbers, you have the red explanation point saying cannot continue, or something is wrong. Simply, you have to repeat those numbers and system is going to figure out that automatically. So remember, only two states which have surcharge, Kentucky and Virginia. Well, after you file your report, you need to make sure that you schedule the payment. Unfortunately, a lot of people put the numbers, they file a report, but they need to make sure that they are paying. And some of them, they simply forget that there is another step. You will need to verify the amount. You will need to verify how are you paying. And usually we do pay from our business account. What can happen? Do we usually pay or do we usually receive money back? Well, it depends where your drivers are fueling, how many miles, and which states are they going through. Some states have a higher tax rate. Let's say California, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Indiana. So if your drivers are going through those states, your IFTA is going to be higher. Why a lot of companies scamming the system? Because you can play with those numbers. Let's say I had 2,000 gallons in Missouri, and my trucks were going through Pennsylvania and Illinois, and they were not really fueling there. Well, I can fake and put those 2,000 gallons and split between, let's say, Indiana and Pennsylvania. And so suddenly, instead of $500, I am paying only $50. Some people get to that scamming so badly that they start manipulating with those numbers so they receive money back. One more time, be aware that those games can go maybe 1 quarter, 2 quarters, 3 quarters. If you've been scamming and you did not get caught within the year or 2 or 3, well, they can still come and do audit. And believe me, IFTA is one of the highest penalties. So stop scamming. Make sure you know how to calculate. Make sure you educate your drivers how to fuel, and make sure you watch if they are stealing from you or not. The other thing which always gets me, it's a big companies. Let's say you have a company with 50 trucks and they are charging IFTA automatically from owner operators, $50 per week. So let's just calculate. If they're charging $50 per week, $50 multiplied by 12 weeks, because we're talking about quarter, 3 months, that means that that driver is paying $600 for IFTA filing. $600 multiplied by 50 trucks, we're talking about $30,000, which they are charging for IFTA. Is that really correct? Is that even legal, dear owner operators? No, and no. This is illegal. They cannot charge you mandatory $50 or $45 per week, because it depends on where you driving, what you actually, where you fueling. Your IFTA is going to be different. Plus, when we file IFTA together as a company, those numbers are totally different. We pay less than if we would calculate per each driver. My thing is, well, economy is not doing well. Market is not that strong. So should you still charge that money for owner operators? Well, it's up to you. And it's up to you, owner operators, to educate yourself about all of these rules and regulations. Sign up for our upcoming class and hopefully you can learn. One more time, if you want to sign up for IFTA, you can use IFTA 125 and you can save $125. If you want to become a pro, sign up for the bundle and we are giving you extra $50 on top of $250. Let's cover a few more topics. Well, what's gonna happen if you do not file an IFTA report? Well, IFTA report has to be filed within 30 days of the deadline. So that's why I gave you those deadlines for this year. Remember, end of April, end of July, end of October, and it's going to be end of January 2025. Well, if you do not file, your IFTA license will be suspended and you will be paying penalties. So do you want to jeopardize that? Do you want to have suspended IFTA license? Because remember, if you have suspended IFTA license, it is illegal for your truck to be on the road. Plus, if you went over 60 days of not filing, you will have to pay penalties. And those are going to be calculated with interest as well. So don't take a chance. And if you did some mistake, you can always fix it. You can go and file amended report if you know that something did not make sense. But I suggest you to verify all the information. Look at the MPG before you click and file that IFTA. Well, what other things do we have to do when we are talking about IFTA filing? Besides the main IFTA, which we are filing in our base state. And base state is a state where company is registered and where we have IFTA license and where we get our decals. We still have to remember that we need to apply not apply, but file quarterly filings in few states. So let's name them really fast. Connecticut, we just added that since 2023. New York, we have Kentucky, New Mexico, and Oregon. I am gonna tell you this. Can this be an extra income stream for you as a dispatcher? Yes, yes, and yes. Most of my students are taking IFTA class because this is an extra service that they can provide for their carriers. Some of them start with IFTA and they start dispatching them after. Some of them have a package. If I dispatch you and I do your IFTA, well, I'll give you discount or I will charge you a little bit more, but I will be taking care of this. No matter if you're a dispatcher, if you are owner of the company, if you thinking on opening trucking company, I do believe that having knowledge about IFTA and all the permits is a must. Having knowledge about safety and compliance, which includes a lot of topics, is a must. So if you guys are eager to become an IFTA expert, hopefully I'll see you in our not pre-recorded but live training on October 19th. That's where we're going to go and file the real IFTA. That's where we're going to go and file Connecticut miles, New York miles. If you have monthly filing for New York, most of you right now are moved to annual filing. It depends on how many miles are you driving through New York. So we're going to talk about that. Kentucky. And remember, if you forgot to file Kentucky, even if you had 0 miles, they will charge you that whooping $500 just for forgetting to file zeros. Then we're going to talk about New Mexico and our favorite and the most expensive state is Oregon. So there's a lot of things to learn. And believe it or not, you will be a pro. And I am giving you 100% information which is available. I'm giving you resources. I am showing you how to do it. And I will be answering every question. So hopefully you're going to come and you're going to master your skills. Hopefully you're going to learn or maybe improve your knowledge. And of course, after gaining extra knowledge, you finally can go and start providing the services. So let's watch one more time. If you decide to go, you can simply go to our website, and here is our upcoming trainings. IFTA and compliance, tracking and safety and IFTA together. And if you just want to take safety, you can enroll just in safety. For people who are looking to learn how to dispatch, make sure you register early because you need to pre-study. If you are looking to webinar, how to open tracking company, it's going to come up in actually December 1st. And if you really want to learn everything, we also have an option for you to buy bundle, which includes dispatch, safety, and IFTA. And in this way, you are saving $550. Hopefully, you are enjoying fall season. I do pray for all the families who've been affected with our natural disasters in Florida, North Carolina, other states. Please stay safe. Make sure you check on your friends, on your family, and hopefully together we can actually help and we can provide extra support for people who lost their houses, who lost their beloved ones. We at Dispatch Service Center always promoting free education. And since we had these terrible disasters, I am willing to enroll few students for free. So if you are in affected area and you have been going through tough times, but you're looking forward to learning something new, reach out to me and I will enroll you in upcoming November class or IFTA class or safety class. Make sure you go to our website, subscribe, and write me a message. Also, tomorrow on Monday, we're going to give 2 free classes, one for IFTA and one for our safety and compliance. And if you guys looking to be awarded those free classes, please make sure you go and watch our previous videos, what you have to do. There's the steps. You had to follow us on social media. You had to put the likes. You had to write to us, why should we give you a free class? And together, we're going to determine who is actually getting those free classes. Well, I love you all. I'll see you soon. Stay positive. Understand that knowledge is the key. And only through the knowledge you can succeed. And never, ever give up. You are the one who can make the steps towards your new dreams. You're the one who can plan what has to be done. And you are the one who can see the bigger picture for yourself. But me personally, and Dispatch Training Center is here to support your first steps. And we are on the mission to change trucking for the better through the education.